With more than 100 years of experience between the four of them, covering Minnesota high school athletics, the Minnesota Sun newspaper's sports editors bring you Sun on Sports. Previously on Sun on Sports.
Second week of high school football coming up Friday, September 11th. Rosemount at Eastview. Have you got a score for us? Prediction on the outcome?
20-17 Rosemount.
Jefferson at Lakeville South.
I'm going with Lakeville South, 28-14.
Apple Valley at Burnsville.
I'm going to give an edge to Burnsville at home in this game. I'll go 14-10.
And now the exciting conclusion to Sun on Sports Friday football preview.
We've got Wayzata going over to Minnetonka, and this will be a non-conference game. They'll play a conference game later. Both teams needed a game. The athletic directors and coaches got together and said, why not? It's a great rivalry. Let's do it twice this season. So Wayzata going over to Minnetonka. Wayzata is the defending champion. Minnetonka is the probably the top contender to Wayzata in that league. I've got a close game coming up, and I'll give Wayzata a slight edge, 17-14. Greg, how do you see this one? It's the battle for the Bay Bell.
Well, in my state Class 5A power rankings, I have Eden Prairie 1, Wayzata 2, and Cretin-Durham all 3. I got to go with Wayzata, 31-20 over Minnetonka. Minnetonka's not an easy place to play. That down in the hole there, they get what, 6,000 people or so?
6,000 people and not much mosquito control.
No, and so it's going to be a fun game to watch, and I guarantee you there'll be some a lot of hitting because both teams are physical.
Two of the best coaches around, Brad Anderson from Wayzata, Dave Nelson of Minnetonka, they both earned their stripes. They're prep bowl type coaches year after year, and these guys know how to put together a game plan. Should really be interesting. Mike, how do you see that game? You've covered these schools in the past. You know what that rivalry is like.
Both coaches have won state championships in the past. Wayzata has more than half of starters returning from its defense last year, which was good enough to win a state championship and shut down virtually every team that they played. I would think this has to be a low-scoring game for Minnetonka to win. It would have to be somewhere in the 10-7, 14-10 range, I think, for Minnetonka to win. I would, in this first game between the two schools, and getting back to our discussion in the previous segment, I think these two teams could be seeing each other twice in the regular season for a number of years to come. But I think in the first game, I'm going to go with Wayzata and its experienced defense. I think Trojans will probably win 17-7.
Unanimous. Everybody predicting a close game. Everybody predicting a Wayzata victory. We've got one game to talk about in the Classic Suburban, Greg. It's an interesting game. These teams have split the last 2 years. We've got Richfield going over to Mahtomedi on September 11th. Mahtomedi, a great tradition. Richfield, a great coach with Lee Herman. How do you see this game unfolding?
I think it's going to be an interesting matchup. I think Mahtomedi likes to wear people down, grind it out if they can. Richfield will unleash an aerial assault. Corey Fitzgerald ranked, the Richfield quarterback ranked second in the Classic Suburban Conference last year in passing. He's back, and he's got, doesn't have quite the receivers he had a year ago. What did they graduated to like Division I or Division II type players, Renard Robinson, and who was the other one, John? Was there another? Richfield?
Renard was a big guy, and then they had Travis Hargela also, who was a great receiver.
Right. But I just don't know if Lee is really Lee Herman, the Richfield coach, is rebuilding his defense, and I don't know if they can prevent Mahtomedi from controlling the ball and the clock. I got to pick Mahtomedi 27-14 over the Spartans.
I've got it a little higher scoring. I covered Richfield last year. Now I'm off that beat. Greg has taken over. And by the way, Greg, you took a great picture of Corey Fitzgerald for the print
thank you.
edition last week. Thanks for showing us that Spartan in his finest passing form. I've got a little higher scoring game. Montemita 35, Richfield 21. I think Richfield will put some points on the board, but I think Richfield will get worn down by that big Montemita team. Mike, any opinion on this one?
Well, you actually, what you're looking at are two programs that have had great tradition. The difference is Richfield is now dealing with the realities of life as a first-ring suburb. With the problems that brings, declining participation, things of that nature. Matamidi is a pretty affluent St. Paul suburb. They're not quite as hurt by demographic realities as a school such as Richfield. Richfield's trying to build back up. Matamidi is Matamidi. Let's face it. I think Matamidi wins 28-0.
I've seen it again. It's unanimous, all three of us. So if it holds true to form, Montemita will win by a couple touchdowns at least. One more game I'd like to mention, a big one in the North Suburban Conference. We're going to have Benilde St. Margaret's playing host to Totino Grace. Grace won the title last year. I expect Grace is going to win the title again. I'll take Grace in a relatively low-scoring game, 14-12, and Benilde will give a good account at home. Well, we're out of time for this show. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you at the games.
Stay tuned for more Sun on Sports, your insider's guide to Minnesota high school athletics. For the scores and more, tune in daily to mnsun.com/sports. And tune in every Saturday morning to Sun on Sports on AM 950, the voice of Minnesota.